Okay, have you heard that hashtags will get your Instagram content seen by more people? This video, we're gonna dive deep into how to use hashtags, and I'm gonna actually share with you the tool that I use and the strategies that I use behind hashtags and how you can use the same strategy, monitor your results, and improve the quality of your content so that you can be seen by more people. So keep watching. For the best advice and tips on growing your audience, impact, and income online with your creative expertise, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll get my latest uploads every week. Okay, so I've seen amazing results with hashtags, and it's really helped me reach thousands and thousands of people with my content and really reach more people than I could if I hadn't used hashtags. So I really want to share this strategy with you. So first, every post on Instagram can have up to 30 hashtags. So it's recommended to use all 30. Why wouldn't you? So just know that 30 hashtags are available to you, so you'll want to at least use all 30 when possible. So this hashtag strategy that I'm about to share with you can be done on Instagram, but I use a tool called Flick, and I'll share a link below to this tool. It really helps improve the process of doing this research and gets it done faster, and I'm all about saving time. And so I do want to mention that you can do this research on your own on Instagram as well, but I use Flick to help me do it faster. So I'm going to show examples of how to do it on Flick and how to do it on Instagram yourself as well. So when it comes to creating hashtags that you want to use, we want to pick hashtags that are related to our niche. And so there's different categories that you can use to create hashtag groups from. And so it starts with your niche. So if you're a wedding photographer, your niche is just, as basic as possible, is photography. So that's your niche. And then you want to look for hashtags related to your sub niche. So if you're a wedding photographer and your niche is photography, then your sub niche is going to be wedding photography. So when we're doing our research related to hashtags, we can type in the search hashtag photography and see what related hashtags come up and what content comes up, and then dive deeper into that content and see what other hashtags other content creators are using as well. And then we can do the same with our sub niche. So our sub niche is hashtag wedding photography. So we would type in hashtag wedding photography and then look at what related hashtags come up, and then dive deeper into that content and see what other content creators are using in terms of other hashtags. The next thing we want to consider when we're looking at hashtags is our community and our audience. What do they identify themselves as, and what communities might they hang out in? So if I'm a wedding photographer, my ideal follower is probably engaged couples. So I might go in the search and type in hashtag engaged, hashtag couple, hashtag newly engaged. And so I would dive into those hashtags and do some research around what other related hashtags come up. So if I were looking for newly engaged, I would just type in newly engaged and see what hashtags come up under that. So I would click through, and I might even click on posts and see what other hashtags content creators are using. And so here I will show an example of how to do that on Instagram and how to do that on Flick. So on Instagram, if I were looking up newly engaged, I would type in newly engaged, and you could see under the search more examples of hashtags that are recommended that are related to newly engaged. That's on Instagram. If I were going to do it on Flick, I would just type in the search newly engaged, and it again is going to come up with a long list of related hashtags. And so I can just, copy these. The other thing you might want to consider are hashtags related to your location and how that might relate back to your audience. Now, before you start deciding on hashtags to use, we really want to dive deeper into those hashtags and understand whether they are good for us to use or not, because all hashtags are not created equal. Some hashtags get used a lot every single day, and some hashtags never get used. And so we want to find a sweet spot for our account and really pick hashtags with different levels of use so that we get seen across varying different types of hashtags. So we don't want to only use very popular hashtags. We also want to use hashtags that maybe aren't as popular but get used a couple times per day, because you'll get different results from different hashtags. So if hashtag engaged gets used 1,000 times every day, then my post on that day is going to get buried by 1,000 different posts, right? 1,000 different content creators. So that means that my content has to perform really well on that hashtag. It's not that it's a bad idea to use that. It's just I should balance that hashtag out with something that gets less used. And so we want to look at how many times these hashtags have been used on Instagram. So comment below this video, let me know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to put your hashtags in your actual caption, or do you like to put them in the first comment? And then we want to group those hashtags into 6 different categories. And so on Flick, I've created 6 different groups of hashtags related to my niche, my sub niche. And so the first group is hashtags that have 1 to 50,000 uses on Instagram. Whereas my 6th collection is a group of hashtags that have been used 1 million to 2 million times. And so I'll fill each of my groups with hashtags that have been used at different levels. And then when I go to create a group of hashtags, I've got these different groupings and they help me create a list of 30 hashtags with varying different uses across the platform. And so what I'll do is I'll grab 10 hashtags from one of the groups, 10 hashtags from another group, and then 10 hashtags from another group and combine them together, make sure that they're related to my content. And if I'm doing my hashtag research right and creating my content right, then all my hashtags should likely be related to my content and my niche and work for me. And so I'll group those 10 together to create a group of 30, and I will use that on my content. So of course you want to use your hashtags appropriately, and you want to make sure that you're using hashtags that are related to your content. So if you have different types of content that you rotate through, like for instance, you are a wedding photographer, but occasionally you do baby photography, then you're gonna wanna make sure that you post the right hashtags for baby photography on the photos that relate to baby photography, right? That way that when people are searching those hashtags and see that content, that it's related to what they were searching for. And it also helps the Instagram algorithm understand your content and understand who to show your content to, whether it's on the Instagram Explore page or on the hashtag page. So on Instagram, if you're using a hashtag, you can find out whether or not you're ranking on your hashtags or not by looking at the hashtag within around a few hours, looking after you've posted your content within a few hours, go to the hashtag and see whether your content is in the top. If it's in the top, then you know that you've ranked on that hashtag. If your content is not at the top, then you know that you probably didn't rank on that hashtag and you're not getting the most reach that you possibly can on that hashtag. One of the reasons I love Flick is it allows me to simply run a report and see if today's post has had any ranked hashtags. And then I can save a list of what hashtags I'm consistently ranking on, and then I can repeat use those hashtags. So the one thing I want to note about hashtags is try to find hashtags that are good for your account and good for your niche, but also pay attention to whether or not hashtags are banned. So there are some hashtags that have been flagged by the Instagram community, and you'll notice when you're searching for hashtags, you'll notice a text at the bottom of the screen that says this hashtag has been banned, basically. It says something a little bit different, but I'll put the notice right here. So last but not least, what you want to do is make sure that your content is a good fit for that hashtag or those hashtags that you've done some research on. So on Instagram, if I were researching a hashtag, I would make note of what kind of content is shared on that hashtag. So if I were looking up minimalism, what kind of visuals do I see when I type in hashtag minimalism? That's probably the type of visual I should be sharing when I share that hashtag. Now, within your niche and within related hashtags, a lot of times the content is the same. And so we want to find hashtags that have content that relates to the type of content that you create. If you create a completely different type of visual than what's normally shared on that hashtag, then it's going to become even harder for you to be added to the top or rank on that hashtag because it's outside of what's expected. So on Flick, you can easily do this research by just hovering over the hashtag, and I'll do a little screen capture right here to show you how easily you can research whether or not your content would be a good fit for that hashtag. So now that you know more, I have an Instagram post and content checklist available for you to grab, and you can grab it in the link below this video. Also, if you're finding it hard to get traction on Instagram and to get eyes on your content, you can join my free Facebook group where we help each other and support each other with our content on various different platforms, and we'd love to have you. You can get that link below this video as well.